Greetings, family. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I would like to discuss a terrible development taking place on the continent of Africa. Our people in South Africa have recently been involved in what many are calling xenophobic attacks on other African people who reside in South Africa. This is a deplorable situation that should not take place on the continent of Africa. With so many people who live in Africa who oppress African people every day, the colonizers and the predatory elements that exist in Africa currently can exist there without any attacks, without any violence, without any repudiation, right? How is it that we as a people can actually turn to disrespecting our own people and treating them like a second-class citizen in their own homes? It is really disgraceful to see Africans fighting other Africans. You know, at this particular time, I believe this is a result of the subversion that is taking place on the continent. Um, After you would have seen the East African Federation form, after you would have heard persons like Julius Malema call for a United States of Africa, I feel that this is a political subversion that is being orchestrated so that they can halt the creation of African, uh, not only voting blocs, but creating African economic partnerships between countries. All right, I remember recently Rwanda and Uganda had some tension at the borders due to the perception that in each of their countries the citizens uh, were being attacked, the foreign nationals were being attacked. And what this xenophobia has really revealed to the world is that this is not an isolated event. You know, I've seen in the conversations between many Africans that each of these attacks was preceded by another attack, another historical disagreement between various countries in Africa. All right, because I remember prior to the South Africa versus Nigeria conflict, there was also in Nigeria a Ghana must go development, in which in Nigeria they were actually telling residents from Ghana that they need to leave. All right. So, my people, I would just like to say one thing to all African people on the continent and the diaspora. All right. We must remember that these borders that they created are artificial borders. All right. And as we see revolutionary freedom fighters like Robert Mugabe passing on, we have to also remember that our brothers stood up and many of us died to protect our legacy and our heritage. Okay? And so these artificial borders need to be done away with in the interest of creating increased harmony, increased unity between African citizens. You should not have black people attacking other black people on the continent of Africa or in the African diaspora due to the fact that these regressive activities will only lead to more bloodshed, more confusion, and the inability of our people to have a homogeneous plan for development, for national development. All right, I would like to see the creation of an African Union that includes the entire African diaspora. All right, this will be unachievable if we succumb to the predatory mindset of our oppressors. All right, the only way I can understand Africans attacking Africans is if some of us are actually trying to mimic the people who colonized us and oppressed us for hundreds of years. It is disgraceful, it needs to stop, and on the ground, cooler heads must prevail. We need leaders to take a stand at this point and prevent this from taking place. We should not have police officers observing while people are being attacked in their own countries. Alright? And we shouldn't allow this scourge to spread any further. My people, we are all one. We have one heritage. Let's focus on eradicating the oppression that is taking place at the hands of the colonizers first. All right? We should not turn to violence. We are the most philosophical and intellectual people on the planet. Let us find national harmony. Let us work together and eradicate xenophobia. We have xenophobia in the Caribbean towards each other, where there's a suspicious mindset, and we feel that other Caribbean nationals are coming to our countries to divest us of our jobs and our economic opportunities. We need to be members of a new race. All right, we need to have national harmony, and we need to grow beyond these classism and racism developments that are now currently destroying unity. All right, although they are isolated events, my people, let us eradicate black on black violence, African on African violence, this suspicious mindset where we feel like Africans are somehow against each other. This should not be. This should not take place in a modern world, and we need to eradicate it as soon as we possibly can. All right, my family. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below about all of these dynamics. One love.